Happy birthday, WIEGO. Happy birthday, WIEGO. Happy birthday, WIEGO. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, WIEGO.
And then there was a precipitating event, which was there was the campaign for C-177 on homework. So I went to show solidarity in Geneva in 1995, and I was with Ila Ben-Bat when in the Palais the vote was cast and for the preliminary vote, and it passed, but the employers were completely against it, the workers were for it, and the deciding vote was the countries. And the countries were saying, but how many home-based workers are there? We need to get a sense. So over coffee in a little square in Geneva, which Ila Ben called Harvard Square, she said, I asked, what do you need? And she said, we need statistics. And I said, okay, haha. And when the convention passed, I got a postcard from Renana and Ila from Geneva that said the convention passed, the employers had their ideology, the workers had their statistics.
You could see informal employment out in the world, but again, we didn't have national labor force statistics, appropriate statistics, in which the types of work that we deal with were visible at all. It was evident at that point in time that statistics in the hands of workers equals power.
We gave ourselves a constitution, and it was a very painful process because we had people from the trade unions who thought we should be an international trade union. We had the researchers who thought we should be a research organization, and we had the networks who thought that we should support them. The founder of SEWA and the founder of WIEGO, Ila Bhatt, said, well, WIEGO should be a handmaiden of the informal workers' movements. So how do you put all that together?
Of the first light bulb moments that I had was when I was, together with Carolyn Skinner, doing the study of how municipalities approach the issue of street trading in 4 cities in South Africa. Pat Horn, who was very influential in the early days, I mean, she was doing fantastic work here in Durban. And she got really angry with me one day because I had made a statement like, but the street vendors don't have an employer, they're self-employed. So who are they going to bargain with? You, the crux of labour organising, isn't it, is that you've got to have the employer and the worker. And she really lost her temper with me. And she just said, you just still don't get it. It's who controls the working space. And in cities, it's the municipality. You've got to get that, else your policy prescriptions are just going to be absolutely useless to everybody.
We took some key decisions at that founding meeting that have really stood us in good stead all these years. One was that we wanted to strengthen and build organizations of informal workers. And the other was that we wanted to improve statistics on the informal economy.
The amazing thing about WIEGO is being able to interact with people from all over the world at all different levels and having a global outreach and using the resources and the human as well as financial resources that we mobilize to have a global outreach has been really a wonderful experience.
And just seeing the domestic workers at the ILO, that leadership emerging, and seeing them speak on public platforms in front of hundreds of people, and that one of the refrains all the time was, "We want to speak for ourselves." And I really liked it because they really did.
We haven't reached the end of the road yet. What we believe, and like we said when we came here, we're not going back to our countries without a convention. And we firmly believe that we are going to get that.
We now know that more than 60% of total employment worldwide is informal. We now know that self-employment represents 60% of informal employment globally and nearly 80% of informal employment in low-income countries. And we now know that the share of self-employed in informal employment increases as national GDP levels decrease. Is the data that underlines what Marty has been saying, that in poorer countries, most everybody is self-employed. And as development increases, then you have more employees. So in effect, these data are providing proof for the arguments that WIEGO has made since its beginning.
I guess an easy way of saying it is that WIEGO has put the informal economy on the map, and clearly also using the words of Marty, alerting, attracting, informing, and inspiring, and giving the basis for creative responses to how to address these issues.
The job that we're doing, we wanted to be treated equally. We wanted the government to help us to build this industry because we know what's going on in it.
Our fight for respect and recognition of our work and condition as legitimate and important for national development is far from over.
Representation of the rapidly increasing numbers of informal economy workers is vital and imperative to democracy.
We want local government, laws, and negotiations to provide protection rather than using them to harass and destroy the livelihoods of informal workers.
Agradecemos a las Naciones Unidas por la apertura de un espacio para que los líderes de las bases participemos en la definición de nuestro futuro común.
Go back to the grassroots, organize people, build from bottom up, from below, and then only our politicians in democratic societies, our policymakers and legislators will sit up and notice.
WIEGO at 40 will still be fundamentally about bridging the day-to-day realities of informal work and the mainstream development discourses. So much has happened in the 20 years in terms of the organizing, the achievements of the networks and their members have just come such a long way, and the policy environment as well. So So my birthday wish is just dream.